When we stop dreaming, we stop breathing. Dreams play an important role in our lives, as many figures in the Bible are said to have been visited by God during their sleep.
Then he had another dream, and he told it to his brother.
Listen,
He said,
I had another dream, and this time the sun and moon and 11 stars were bowing down to me.
Welcome to Understanding Your Dreams, presented by Pastor Peter Kansembe from Praise Christian Center. This program has been tailor-made so that you can determine how much attention to pay to the meaning of your dreams. The dream is for the dreamer. Stay tuned.
Welcome to Understanding Your Dreams. My name is Pastor Peter from Praise Christian Center. Once again, I bring to you greetings from our Bishop, Dr. Ed Kansembe. As usual, we start by reading from Job chapter 33 and verse 14. The Bible reads, "For God may speak in one way or in another way, yet man does not perceive it. In a dream, in a vision of the night, when deep sleep falls upon men while slumbering on their beds, then he opens the ears of men and seals their instruction, in order to turn man from his deed, to conceal pride from man, and to keep back his soul from the pit and his life from perishing by the sword." So there are many ways in which God can speak to you and to me. God can speak to you as you read his word. God can speak to you as you listen to a message that is preached to you. God can also reach out to you in a dream. And many times God may just choose to speak to you in a dream to warn you or to counsel you, to show you the future or show you things that are hidden in your life. Remember that God knows everything. God is eternal. He knows the past. He knows the future. And as we've been looking at a number of things, we want to look at regions of captivity in your dreams. Now, this could be areas that are there in your life and they are hidden. And so, like the Bible says, when deep sleep falls upon man, he opens the ears of man to seal an instruction in order to keep man from his deed. To seal an instruction is to leave such an imprint on the heart of man that it cannot be erased. And the reason that God does that is to keep a person from destruction. And so we want to look at regions of captivity or areas that may be in the life of a person and if allowed, unchecked or unattended to, maybe they can bring trouble in the future. And so that is our thought, our focus for this program. I want us to start by looking at 1 Samuel chapter 11. 1 Samuel chapter 11. We won't read the whole passage, but you may know the story. And so we want to look at those areas um, that may just be in your life. 2 Samuel, I beg your pardon, 2 Samuel chapter 11. Now, if you look at this passage, it starts by giving an account in verse 1. It says that it happened in the spring of the year, at the time when kings go to battle. And David sent Joab and his servants with him and all Israel, and they destroyed the people of Ammon. So here we see that David himself, he remained at the palace. He didn't go to battle. He decided to stay behind, and for whatever reason he did, he stayed behind. And so one of the things we want to look at as we look at regions of captivity, we are looking at different types of dreams, and we are relating them to different types of experiences. So in this particular verse, we see that David, he sees this woman bathing. He is informed that she is married, but still he goes ahead and brings in this woman. He sins with her, and later on he kills the husband. There are some that have dreams where infidelity is showing in their dreams. Now, if you look at other stories, for example, you look at the story of Judah and Tamar. Judah was supposed to give his son to Tamar. That's in Genesis chapter 38. But we see in a similar way, he's on a journey. He leaves home and he comes to this place, and he thinks that he has come across a prostitute. Then he sleeps with her, and then for a payment, he gets things that belongs to him as a form of security. And then later on, when this case is raised, he has to, he wanted to punish this woman, but she says the owner of this pregnancy is the man who owns these things. And so something that is hidden comes to the forefront. And so in the same way, when David sinned, he thought it was a clean game. He hid it, and then later on it comes to bother him. And so when we look at regions of captivity, we are looking at those areas that may be strongholds in the life of a person. They may be hidden from the sight of many, but maybe they are developing quietly, and eventually they may bring trouble. So some have this type of dreams. They may come as warning dreams. For some, it is infidelity in their dreams. Some people dream they are unfaithful to their spouses, and in this one I'm looking at a personal dream, not really looking at the other spouse, but they themselves, they are the unfaithful parties in that dream. Now, if you look at the story of David and Bathsheba, this is the story of unfaithfulness, and so some of these can come as warning dreams. Now, if these type of dreams are common in your life, then you really need to look at what is going on in your life, because some of these dreams may come to reflect the inner most hidden things that are in a person's heart. Now, when you look at it in Psalm 51, David talks about being born in iniquity. Wash me from my transgression. Now, this is a twistedness within the soul. So sometimes people have this type of dreams because they are a reflection of what has been going on the inside. Now, just because somebody hasn't shown traits of unfaithfulness or they have not ventured out does not mean those seeds are not there. So those seeds could be there, they could be hiding, and that a challenging time they could come out. So if these are regular dreams, then you need to look at what exactly is in your soul. So sometimes people may find themselves venturing into other things on the internet or in magazines or just in associations, and they know that these associations will eventually lead me into trouble. So a person may say, I'm dreaming about this person, I know them, but I'm always dreaming I'm associating with them, and yet I am married. That is a dream that is showing infidelity or unfaithfulness. So if this is a regular pattern in your life, you need to face up to that dream, be honest and do an introspection. There are many times that a person may be getting into an association that they know that is compromised. Say, for example, when David calls this woman to come up to the roof, he exactly knows why he is calling her. He asks the question, who is she? He is told she's Bathsheba, the wife of Uriah, and the full description is given. And yet he proceeds to call this woman until he sins, and later on he has to live with the regret. And so there are associations that people get in, especially in circles that seem comfortable. Sometimes it is in church circles, and somebody may be lying to themselves or pretending to themselves, no, we are just talking, getting along, there is nothing. But in the depth of the soul of a person, they know that they are not just talking, things are moving and happening within them, and so they start having this particular type of dreams. So if you are having those dreams, it's time to face up to those dreams, deal with the issue in your life before it becomes like the story of Judah and Tamar, which he thought was buried, he thought it was hidden. At the unexpected time, it just manifests that he has impregnated his daughter-in-law. So we are looking at regions of captivity, areas that may be in the life of a person, working against the good things in them, and eventually they manifest. I also want us to look at Zechariah chapter 3. It's an interesting passage. Some people have these dreams where they are putting on dirty clothes or they have dirty undergarments. And so we want to look at that passage in Zechariah chapter 3. So in this passage, it says that Joshua the priest, in verse 1, then he showed me Joshua the high priest standing before the angel of the Lord, Satan standing at his right hand to oppose him. And the Lord said to Satan, the Lord rebuke you, Satan, and the Lord who has chosen Jerusalem rebuke you. Is this not a brand plucked from the fire? Now Joshua was clothed with filthy garments, and he was standing before the angel. So now we see that Joshua is the high priest. And remember that when they came to Mount Sinai, God told them to prepare 3 days, wash yourselves, be clean, come and present yourselves. So from Mount Sinai, we know that God wanted people to appear clean and tidy in his presence. And that was the same rule for the priest. So now in this passage, we see that Joshua the high priest is standing before the angel of the Lord, and he's putting on dirty garments. And so Satan is standing at his right hand to accuse him, because he has arrayed himself in the presence of the Lord in a manner that is not worthy. He has come and he's not prepared. And so we see that dirty garments, they can represent sin, they can represent unrighteousness. In Isaiah chapter 64, verse 6, it says, all of us have turned astray, and our righteousness is like filthy rags. Now, the righteousness of a person becomes filthy rags when they think they can make it on their own. They don't need Christ in their lives. They don't need to be born again. They are good enough just by themselves. Or when somebody begins to pretend that they are serving God, and yet deep inside them, they know that they are not really living for God. They may do many acts of service that when people look around you in the community and in the church, they really think this is a God-fearing person. And so they have this semblance of righteousness. But Isaiah says, our righteousness is like filthy rags. So again, like I'm saying, it could be something that is in the life of a person, and you are consistently seeing yourself in dirty clothes. I know a number of people talk about being naked in public, but this may also be an issue that a person needs to look at. Maybe you are in church, you are ministering, dirty clothes, your garments are dirty clothes, your undergarments are dirty, you are in your office, dirty clothes, you are in a place at a wedding, everybody is smartly dressed, you are putting on dirty clothes. So you know that from this passage we have read, dirty clothes are speaking to the character of a person. It could be sin, could be unrighteousness. So there could be areas that are dirty in your particular life. So you need to look at, where are you seeing yourself in those dirty clothes? Here it says, Joshua the priest was standing before the angel of the Lord, and he had dirty clothes. Where are you standing in your dirty clothes? Is it at church? Is it in your workplace? Is it in your family? Is it among your friends? So these things can speak to you, and it can be a twistedness within you. And so we see in the same way that this we see in the story of David, and we see it in the story of Tema, as we talked about. Now, if you carry on, again, you look at another area. Let's look at anger. Let's look at malice there. Some people that talk about dreams where they are killing people, they are murdering a person. And in 2 Samuel chapter 13, this is the story of Ammon and Absalom and his sister. Now, what happens is this Ammon is one of the sons of David, and one day he pretends to be sick. Now, this lady is the stepsister, and so he has a lot of lust concerning this young lady, and he pretends one day to be sick. So this is about Ammon and Tam. And then he asks that, let this sister of mine come and cook for me, and while she's cooking, I will watch and I will recover. Nobody knows what kind of sickness that was, which as you see a person cooking, you will instantly recover. So it was a sickness of the mind. So this young lady comes to cook and to prepare for him. And the scripture in chapter 13, it says he pounced on her, he raped her, and then he chased her. He didn't even want to see her. If you look down in the verse, it says he hated her more than he had ever loved her. So we see that there is a twistedness in his character. There is something wrong. But now when we come to the brother Absalom, this is the same man who has tried to overthrow the father. He hears what this man has done. He's very bitter. He's very angry. And he plans, if you continue reading, he arranges, organizes a party, and at that party he murders Ammon because he was enraged, he was angry. So one of the regions of captivity that may be in a person's life could be areas of anger, areas of jealousy, areas of violence. So if you are seeing yourself in very violent acts in a dream, you need to attend to those areas. Don't wait until it manifests. Don't wait until you say, I've been seeing myself beating people in a dream, now suddenly it came. It could be one of those areas that God is warning you about. So this man was angry, he was bitter, and he plotted a party and he killed his brother. Now, some people talk about being in dreams where they are killing. Now, if a person is killing, there are many reasons. Say, for example, if we look at Genesis chapter 4, that is the story of Abel and Cain. Abel offered a pleasing sacrifice to the Lord, and the Lord was pleased. Now, when you look at Cain, Cain brought an offering to the Lord, and the Lord was not pleased with his offering. And he said, if you do better, will you not be accepted? So rather than making an improvement or a correction according to what the Lord had spoken to him, Cain decided to take matters in his hands. And the solution for him was to kill his brother rather than work on his offering. So we are looking at regions that could be in the area of a person, areas that a person can't be corrected, they can't hear, no matter who speaks to them, it doesn't matter. In this case, we see that it was Cain being corrected by God, but he did not want to listen. So you could be having those dreams where you see yourself killing people, fighting with people all the time. Of course, it could mean many things, but one of the areas you need to consider is, are you angry in your life? Are you bitter? Are you harboring unforgiveness? You need to see who you are beating. There are times that people say, I've been dreaming we are stoning this old woman or we are stoning this old man, and probably they suspect that somebody is a witch. And so we see in the Old Testament that when somebody was caught in adultery or they were witches, they would be stoned to death. So we see that that stoning can be a representation of an accusation. And so when you look at this type of dreams, you need to consider what is going on in your heart. Have you kept anger from childhood? Have you kept bitterness from childhood? Are there events that have triggered those kind of dreams? So we see that in the case of Absalom, he was angry because an event had happened, and that event was not dealt with adequately by his father according to the way he felt it should have been done with. So he took matters in your hands. Are there matters that you are taking in your hands because you feel they have not been adequately dealt with by those who are in authority? Maybe it could be your parents, maybe it could be your pastor, maybe it could be your friends, or maybe it could be people you feel are responsible for some things that are relating to your life, and because those things have not been dealt with, you are angry, and so you may see yourself fighting, killing, or very destructive. So you may need to look in your life and see what is this flag that the Lord is showing to me. Now, in the case of Cain, as we have referred to him, there can also be a case of jealousy. It may not be that a person has offended you. There are people who hate people not because they have done anything wrong to them, but because they are succeeding. So you could be in a place where you are fighting and beating down a person simply because they are more successful than you. It's not because they've done anything wrong, they've not spoken anything wrong against your life, but you could have that region in you that is dictating negativity in your life, and so you find yourself beating down a person. And when you awake and you ask yourself, who is this that I'm beating down? Maybe you discover that they got better grades than you in class, or they accomplished a project better than you, or for example, they are running their home in a better way than you are doing with yours, and because of the success of their marriage, you are angry, you are bitter, you feel like beating them down. So those kind of things, they exist. So if you are seeing them in your life, you need to take an inventory and ask yourself, is this region speaking because I have harbored things? Then there are other regions that can be speaking in your life. There are areas of abuse, for example. These things usually come from the soul. Now, to be abused is to be misused, to be wrongly treated, to be ill-treated. Yeah, sometimes it's verbal abuse. It's the things that are said. Sometimes it is accusations. For others, it is molestations, sexual abuse. Others, it's physical violence. Or it may be any type of abuse that demeans the life of a person. So again, a person that may feel they have been abused in their lives and those things have not been settled within them, there are common dreams that some of them have. Some of them are like they are dreaming they are always this child. The person may be in their 30s, 40s, or even 50s, but they dream they are this 5-year-old vulnerable child that has been beaten or locked up in a room or nobody wants to talk to, because there is a region in their life, maybe they were young, maybe they were traumatized, and maybe they had nobody to talk to, and they have kept these big secrets in their lives as something went wrong, but because it has never been attended to, so they always see themselves in that place of anger or a place of weakness. I remember somebody saying that there is something that happened to them when they were just about 8 years old, but they kept it as a secret. And so in their lives, they have this raging anger. They have terrible dreams. And all these are being triggered by events that have happened in their lives. And those events have remained unattended to, unresolved, unreconciled. And because of that, they have these bad dreams of either they are being beaten, they are being scolded, or they are locked up. So those could be signs that there is a region that needs to be attended to. And you need to release it because it may be a root of anger. Remember that a broken spirit can make the heart sick. So some of those things that make people sick, cause migraines and other challenges in the body, they may be coming from these secret regions that are just working in the life of a person. Some dream they are always being beaten by parents, or always being beaten at school, or beaten by friends, and some are traumatic dreams coming from an area. So if these are common, you need to put your finger on an event. Find the event in your life. What is the event that is predominantly showing you that vulnerability? And that is the area that you may need to attend to in order to come to that place of peace. Now, if you look at, for example, the story of Jacob, you find it in Genesis chapter 29 from verse 26. This is the story of Jacob and Laban. And Laban changed the wages of Jacob so many times. He worked for 7 years and he was expecting to be given the daughter of his choice, the woman he loved. And then lo and behold, in the morning when he woke up, he had been tricked. He got a woman, but it's a different woman he got. So it's like he had been abused for 7 years and then further abused for another 14 years. He was forced to do things he really did not want to. And so if you look at this type of a man, this is not a joyous type of work. I suspect the first 7 years he was working with joy and gladness, but the next 7 years he was working, he must have been working with a lot of pain, a lot of anguish. So again, this could be like broken promises in your life, people speaking things in your dreams, things that never happen, things that get changed, things that get lost. This could be pointing again to similar things. If you look at Leah, Leah was unloved. Of course, she was married, but she was not happy. She was bitter. If you look at the way she was naming her children, it was clear she was complaining right through her life. So sometimes abuse can manifest itself as general unhappiness. And this is where sometimes in the case of couples, they are having dreams, their spouse is leaving them. There are people who continuously dream that their wife is leaving them, or they continuously dream that their husband is leaving them. And the reason is that maybe there has been abuse, maybe they are being mistreated, maybe the wife does not use the right words for the husband, maybe the husband does not use the right words for the wife. And because of these internal fights, there are these regions of captivity that are speaking. All the dreams are negative. You don't see anything good about your partner in your dream. You are always seeing your partner is going away. So these could be areas that you need to attend to. And so in this program, we have looked at regions of captivity that may come as tormenting dreams in the life of a person. And some of those tormenting dreams are like indicators or gauges that you need to deal with this particular area in your life. So until the next time, this is Pastor Peter from Praise Christian Center. You may like my page on Facebook, Peter Kansembe, Understanding Dreams, and you may send in your questions by text or WhatsApp to 0961 500 512, 0961 500 512, and we'll be more than glad to assist you. So until the next time, shalom, shalom.